And we are live. Welcome to the process. It is Thursday, April 21st. I am Josh Engleman, and I am here to break down yet again a 3-game NBA slate. If you can, hit that like button on your way in the door. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. And good morning, folks. Good to see everybody in chat. Not too many more of these folks running out of 3-game slates. Not too many in the near future, depending on how quickly some of these series ends. This Friday could be it. Who knows? I'm a little tired. Long day yesterday, but we'll get through it. We'll be fine. We'll let fine. I think those were the words that just came out of my mouth. I think I need to get some coffee in me. None of that makes sense. Words are not forming the way that I would like them to. So maybe we should just get to the toast early so that we can just talk a little bit about basketball and not have to watch me struggle to be a human being an hour and 3 minutes after I woke up. Larry, you could not be more correct. Words are hard. Words are very hard. Well, you go 9 hours not speaking to another human being and just staring straight ahead. And, you forget how to do things, I reckon. Morning, Calvin. Let's just dive into it. I think that's the easiest way to do it. We're going to move through the rotations pretty quickly. We're not going to be here all that long, so I think it's a good idea. I got my coffee. I hope you guys do as well. If you don't, and obviously I'm a little sluggish from yesterday's holiday festivities. If you got a coffee, that's great. If you got a tea, water, beer, all that's fine. Food for this morning, you've got a Danish, some coffee cake. Maybe you don't like regular coffee, you like coffee cake. You can go that direction. Hot dogs, chicken nuggets, Pop-Tarts, whatever your breakfast du jour is. Or if you're just if you're still going from yesterday, hit that J. Whatever you got to do. Rise and grind, everybody. Good morning. Clink. There we go. Let's get it started. Oh, it's just too hot. I was ready to destroy that. I can't. All right. Oh, actually, let's do this right there. PrizePicks, presenting sponsor of this show. Go to awesemo.com/prizepicks-promo or click the link in the description, which is going to be way easier for you. Get yourself 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. You also get a bit of a deposit bonus. We have an Awesemo.com PrizePicks player prop tool. It's a lot of P's. It's a lot of alliteration. PrizePicks player prop tool. We have that at Awesemo.com. It's going to make your life really easy when trying to build out your cards at PrizePicks. All right, here we go. Let's break it down. 3 games. First one up, Memphis at Minnesota. Grizzlies, 1.5-point favorites in Minnesota. Just in case you're curious who's the better team. Doesn't mean that they're going to win the series, but being favored on the road in the playoffs is a telltale sign. Memphis, -1.5, 236 total. So we've got Memphis, Minnesota at 236. We've got Golden State, Denver at 224. So that's 12 points less. Dallas, Utah is 210. That's 26 points less than Memphis, Minnesota. So just in case you're curious, we kind of know how this is going to shake out. Alrighty. So let's start with Memphis. And is there anything we need to know? Everybody that's normally in is in for Minnesota. Everybody that's normally in is in, which means we kind of know how to do this, but we actually don't. What are they going to do with Steven Adams? Does he start? My guess is no. I think that we're going to see Steven Adams out of the rotation, which on the surface doesn't feel right. Like, it doesn't feel like they'd go straight away from him. But they kind of did. So I'm going to assume that they do that, and I'm going to take Steven Adams out of the rotation, and I'm going to do a 24-24 split between Brandon Clark and Tillman. Actually, no. We're going to go a little bit lighter than that. We're going to go... Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. We're going to go 22-22, and then there will be 4 minutes of Jaren Jackson at the 5. So that does free up 6 extra minutes for me. Now, we know Morant's going to get like 36 in a competitive game. We know that Bane and Brooks are going to get like 34 in a competitive game. So who's the guy that's most likely to soak up those extra 4 minutes? Or extra 6 minutes, rather? Tyus and Ja could potentially play like 2 to 4 minutes alongside each other. So I'm going to give him 4. I'm just going to give Zaire the extra 2, and that'll hash out what we need here. Peace out, Steven Adams, at least for the rest of this series. Would I be surprised if he played a rotation middle or end of the first, beginning of the second, or sometime in the second half? No, I would not. But for right now, I just think they're going to be better off from a defensive standpoint, because I don't think that he can hang out there when Cat's out there. I think that he might be able to get out there for some non-Cat minutes. Now we'll look at Minnesota. And this one I really don't think that we have a ton of changes for. You know, we've got 34 minutes in for Russell, 38 for Edwards, 38 for Towns. We've got a Jaden McDaniels, Jared Vanderbilt split, which honestly, probably not the direction we're trying to go. Vanderbilt played his first rotation, didn't play at all in the second quarter. Played a little bit at the beginning of the third, got waxed, and never saw the floor again. Now, who they're going to go to, I'm not entirely sure. That's where it starts to get a little dicey. So maybe I'm going to take Vanderbilt down to, I'm going to take Jaden McDaniels down to, and I'm just going to say that Jordan McLaughlin is going to see some time. I take one from Beasley as well, get him to 26. I just want to get a little bit of time on McLaughlin. But I feel good with Towns minutes. I feel good with Edwards minutes. So we can look at game number 1 already. This is the best part of the playoffs. And by the way, hit that like button if you haven't. This is the best part of the playoffs. The lack of change, or at least the easy relative change. So Dylan Brooks and Desmond Bane both look really good on FanDuel. Bane is 5,400. On DraftKings, he's 6,200. Those prices don't make a ton of sense. Dylan Brooks is 5,100 on FanDuel, 6,100 on DraftKings. So $1,000 cheaper on FanDuel. Those guys are going to look good on FanDuel all day. I think Ja looks good on both sites. 9,900 on FanDuel, 9,800 on DK. I think you can go either direction there. After that, Jaren Jackson would be the guy that I want to take the shot on. Feel free to take a run at Tillman. I got to see if my wife got her Wordle. She got it in 4. That's a shame. I'll let them know how I did now. Okay. Yeah, look, if you think Tillman could play a couple extra minutes, very reasonable to go to him on FanDuel and DraftKings as a value play. 3,700 on FanDuel, 3,500 on DraftKings. Especially on FanDuel, where you get the power forward eligibility. But I think it's going to be more of a timeshare with him and Clark, so it's going to be hard to price. It's certainly going to be very difficult to me to play Clark over Tillman, because I think that Tillman's going to start. If Clark starts, I think that he'll become a little bit more interesting. But I assume that it's going to be Tillman. On the Minnesota side, this one won't be surprising. It's Towns for sure and Edwards for sure on DraftKings. Towns is 9,300. He's 9,700 on FanDuel. Edwards is 8,200 on DraftKings, 8,800 on FanDuel. You get shooting guard, small forward there. Those are the two guys I want the most. Russell, obviously, not all that bad on DraftKings. He's 7K. You get point guard, shooting guard. I think Beverly on DraftKings at 5,300 is also fine. Jared Vanderbilt is probably going to be my preferred value play. 3,700 on FanDuel, 3,500 on DK. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be giving him 22 minutes. Maybe that's a little aggressive. Maybe I'll take one away. He's still going to look pretty good from a value perspective. Maybe not pretty good, but good enough. Here's game one. You can see Dylan Brooks, Towns, and Bane are all pretty much the same on FanDuel. Brooks with the highest ceiling relative to his salary for sure, which I don't think is all that surprising. On DK, Towns and Edwards very much separated from the pack. 5 points clear of Russell, honestly. And then you get to Morant. So DraftKings is a site where you want to be playing Minnesota today. Then we go to Dallas, where honestly, who knows who we're going to play here? Question is going to be, do we see Luka Doncic? And for right now, Luka is questionable. Which means that I think we have to assume that he's going to play, or at least we're not going to know early whether or not he's going to play. I think he is proper questionable. Do I think he's going to play tonight? No. Do I feel like I have to project him in? Yes. So we're going to cut this entire rotation. We're going to cut every rate. Everything changes if Luka's back. I'm going to say we get 34 minutes out of Luka. I think that we still get 34 minutes out of Jalen Brunson. No, he's going to still play 36. If he was able to play 36 during the regular season, he's playing 36 now. So 36 for Jalen Brunson. The real question will become, how many minutes does Spencer Dinwiddie play? And I'm going to go with 30 for right now, which is probably going to make him be incredibly uninteresting. We're going to get Dwight Powell out there for 20 minutes. We're going to get Maxey out there for 26 minutes. Wouldn't surprise me if Bertans left the floor. I mean, Josh Green's done. He's not playing any longer. We got to get Dorian Finney-Smith his 40. We got to get Reggie Bullock his 42. Yeah, that feels good to me. Honestly, I'm going to say Dorian Finney-Smith gets 42 as well. That leaves me 10 minutes for the final person, which I'm going to say is Bertans. If it's not Bertans, I don't think that's crazy. I think 8-man rotation works. I mean, they basically played 5 guys any real minutes the last time out. So I think 8 works here if we assume Luka's coming back. But yeah, I think all that makes sense. Now we need the rates with Luka playing. So we want to get teams where Dinwiddie, Brunson, and Luka all played. Dinwiddie, Brunson, Luka. Because this gives Luka Luka ends up with like a 39% usage rate or something crazy. But he's going to be in reduced minutes, so it's going to be a little weird. All right, hey, by the way, Dallas Mavericks are 14-5 in games where all 3 of those guys play. 14-5 since the deadline when Brunson, Dinwiddie, and Luka Doncic all play. Keep that in mind. This team's good. If Luka gets back and is healthy, it's an interesting team. All right, rates are grabbed. So let's lock everybody in. Let's give Luka Doncic his 39.9% usage rate. Everything else stays the same. Jalen Brunson, 21.4% usage rate in these games. Giant hit to his assist rate. Shouldn't be all that surprising. Next up, we're going to go Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie, 21.3% usage rate. Giant hit to his assist rate. Actually takes a bit of a rebounding hit as well. Reggie Bullock doesn't do anything crazy. Maxi Kleber doesn't do anything crazy. And then finally, Dorian Finney-Smith, 12.6. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw more usage out of Luka. I think he's viable, which is kind of crazy. He's viable at 34 minutes. I'm not so sure I'm going to like that, but I can't make injury designations. So let's go to Utah now. And for the Jazz, everybody's available except for Trent Forrest. So I don't think this is going to look all that different for the first two games. Donovan Mitchell's played 40 in both, so he's playing 40 here. We got 32 for Mike Conley. I think that makes sense. I've got 26 for Jordan Clarkson. I can easily take 2 away there. I got 34 for Rudy Gobert. That needs to become 36. I got 32 for Royce O'Neal. I think that needs to become 34. Boyan has played 40. I'm going to take that up to 39. And then Daniel House, I think we might actually want to take up to 18. We're going to get very little Juancho. This is basically an 8-man rotation. Yeah, Nate, Middleton got hurt last night. Sprained MCL. So now game number 2 in the books. We look at Dallas, and we can go to Luka. I think he's the best overall play from Dallas at 34 minutes. He's 10K on FanDuel, 10-6 on DraftKings, but he is not going to be a priority. The only other priority here is Reggie Bullock for 4,200 on FanDuel. He's 5,100 on DraftKings. That's going to be a bit of a tough sell. Not a lot here to like for Dallas if Luka is back. Obviously, if Luka ends up out, we're going to Jalen Brunson and we're going to Spencer Dinwiddie. On the Utah side, Donovan Mitchell looks pretty good on FanDuel, on DraftKings at 8,400. He looks fine on FanDuel at 9K, but obviously those are different prices. Rudy Gobert, to me, looks pretty good on both. 7,700 on FanDuel, 7,600 on DraftKings, and going to play 36 minutes. You can make a case for Boyan or Mike Conley on DraftKings, but not a lot of priorities, and you'll see that here as we add game number 2. Gobert makes it to 5th on FanDuel. Luka is 7th. You know, you can make a case that Ja Morant is a better option than Luka today, which you don't normally say. But 4 guys from Memphis, Minnesota ahead of the first Utah-Dallas guy. On DraftKings, we get Donovan Mitchell a little bit closer to that Towns-Edwards tier. He passes Russell and Morant. You get Gobert up top, but Luka only gets to 9th. So just doesn't seem like he's going to be a priority. Doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of priorities coming from this game in general. And then we close it out. Golden State at Denver. Assuming we get Steph Curry back to normal. Don't totally know that for sure. For Golden State, Andre Iguodala is probable. For Denver, everybody that's normally available is available. In the last game that Golden State played against Denver, they won by 20. Steph came back off the bench once again, played 23 minutes. It seems like he would start here. It's another 3 days. I don't think he's maybe they don't. They don't have to. Him coming off the bench is really interesting. He's obviously not coming off the bench for the rest of the playoffs. There's going to be a time where they do it. But is being up 2-0 enough to not care? I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to give Steph 30 minutes. I'm going to give Jordan Poole Let's see. I'm going to give Jordan Poole 35. I'm going to give Klay Thompson 36. I'm going to give Andrew Wiggins 34. And then we can fill out the rest of this pretty easily. Draymond, how many minutes did Draymond miss? Draymond played 29 and a half. We'll call it 30. Missed 446. So we'll go 35 to Draymond. We got to project this as if they're going to close. Yeah, like, I can't say this out loud. It's not important right now. We're going to give Draymond 35 minutes. We'll give Looney the other 13 minutes at the 5. We get Bielitsa out there for 15. We'll go 14. We get Otto Porter out there for 23. I'm missing somebody obvious. And then we get Gary Payton out there. 20. That's your Golden State roster. We got one more. Denver up next. You know, they should make some changes. Who the hell knows if they will. We got Monty Morris in for 34. You pick up 2 fouls? Yeah. So, he missed a ton of playing time in the first quarter. But I think 34 makes a ton of sense. Even if you just give him this rotation, we're talking about missing like 7 or 8 minutes. That takes him to 32. So, yeah, I'm more than happy with 34 for Monty Morris. Morris, Barton, Jokic, Gordon. I mean, these are guys that are going to play well into the 30s. 34 there, 36 for Barton, 35 for Gordon. I'm going to take the 34. 38 for Jokic. I feel good about all of those marks. So as long as the game is competitive. It's the rest of the guys that I'm not entirely sure of. Bryn Forbes is now playing a bunch. You know, a lot of that was garbage time. But Cousins played alongside Jokic for a brief moment. Cousins, Forbes, JaMychal Green, Austin Rivers, Jeff Green. Like, they went kind of deep on the bench, which is interesting. I'm going to take Rivers down a minute. We're going to take Bones Highland down 3 minutes. I'm going to take Jeff Green down a minute. Take Bryn Forbes up to 11. I don't really see another place to get it. I don't really want any of Rivers, Highland, or Forbes anyway. So these rates are all where we need them to be. Jokic popping pretty aggressively. We'll see if he can snap out of it tonight. For Golden State, Klay Thompson is my preferred option, but nobody really looks all that good from Golden State. It's Klay at 6,200 on FanDuel, 6,900 on DraftKings. Draymond is like a half step behind him, 6,700 on both sites. If Curry's not starting, it's going to be really hard to go to him. Poole is probably properly priced on DraftKings. Looks all right, actually, at 7,200 on FanDuel. $75 viewers, 40 likes. Hit that like button if you haven't already. We go to Denver. Jokic just looks exceptional. 11-4 on FanDuel, 11-2 on DraftKings. He's going to be the preferred pay-up option, I believe. Second best option here to me is Aaron Gordon, 5,100 on FanDuel, 5,600 on DraftKings. To me, you can play Jokic, Barton, Gordon, Morris, and basically no one else other than if you're putting like Jeff Green in a lineup, it's your last guy in and you don't have the salary type stuff. And as we add game number 3, we see Jokic climb to the number 1 spot across both sites. Now, it's possible we get Towns over Jokic on DraftKings just because of salary constraints on the optimal. But after we get to Jokic, next closest guy on DraftKings is Aaron Gordon at 11th, Klay at 7th on DK. This is the Memphis, Minnesota day. Again, we shouldn't be surprised by that. But it's all about your lineup construction. So let's check out optimal lineups on FanDuel and DraftKings. We'll start with FanDuel. Maybe it would help if I clicked on Fantasy Cruncher. Couldn't hurt. Alrighty, FanDuel, optimal. We're uploading. What do we got? 345.6. Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley, Klay Thompson, Reggie Bullock, Desmond Bane, Dylan Brooks, Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon, and Rudy Gobert. Wait. Oh, that doesn't matter. Okay, well, I don't really have any qualms with that lineup. Like, it all makes sense to me. A little surprised to not see Towns, but only so many spots. I wouldn't make any changes here. You can drop down by 0.3 of a point if you wanted to swap Mike Conley for Pat Bev. All right. Power rankings on FanDuel are up next. This is where it could get interesting. We have... It's looking like Dylan Brooks is going to be your number one guy. I'm more than okay with that. Hasn't been great so far, but he's going to have a coming out party. I can promise you that. Dylan Brooks is number one. Rudy Gobert, number two. I'll give everybody north of 30%. Brooks is at 50. Gobert is at 42. Towns, 42. Jokic, 42. And we get Bane, Mitchell, Edwards, Doncic, Klay Thompson, Ja Morant, and Pat Bev. Then we get to DraftKings, which is clearly going to look aggressively different. Will Jokic make it into the optimal? Where will he rank in the power rankings given his salary? Here we go. Optimals on DraftKings, 296.5. We've got two separate lineups. 296.5. One has Jokic, one does not. Beverly, Russell, Brooks, Vanderbilt, Towns, Mitchell, Gordon, and Morris make up the first one. Russell, Mitchell, Brooks, Vanderbilt, Tillman, Morris, Gordon, Jokic make up the second one. So we swap Towns out for Tillman. Well, technically, we swap Towns for Jokic. We swap Vanderbilt for Tillman. There's one more swap that must be really big here. Pat Bev out. No. Pat Bev out. Why am I missing this? Morris and Gordon are in both. Mitchell's in both. Towns is not. And Bev is not. Oh, so it's just Towns and Beverly for Tillman and Jokic. Got it. Towns and Beverly for Tillman and Jokic. Whew, that took me way too long to figure out. Well, you can make those swaps, and you've got the exact same projection. Now let's look at the power rankings. See, it's too early to be trying to make try to do logic problems. Yeah, can't be doing that. Texted my mom. Never mind. Couldn't find a good GIF. Power rankings on DK. Here's everybody north of 30. Anthony Edwards, Aaron Gordon, Dylan Brooks, Jared Vanderbilt, D'Angelo Russell, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Nikola Jokic, Karl Anthony Towns. Guys, they are tied. All three of these guys are tied. Look at this. Towns, 32.4%. Gobert, 32.4%. Jokic, 32.4%. That is insane. All three guys. You get a 7,600 option, a 9,300 option, and 11,200 option. They're all separated by a really normal amount of money. You can work your way up and down the ladder, just swapping out that center. I think all of them look the same. How's that for you guys? By the way, Pat Bev, the only other guy north of 30. Wild day. Today is going to be tough. Real tough. So I think we are done here. Does anybody want to see anything else before we get out of here? We could take one last second and look at something if you guys want to. What's the featured what's the word I'm looking for? Showdown tonight. Golden State, Denver. Okay. Golden State and Denver is the featured showdown. Let's run that. Do I have the ability to do that? Yes. I reckon I do. So let's go ahead and select Golden State and Denver. We'll look at, we're doing just DraftKings here, and that's it. Sotex, I'll run a Yahoo for you. Sure. So let's get those projections in. And we'll get those projections in. All right, this is going to be for Denver, Golden State tonight, showdown. Switch my view quickly. There we go. Optimal for the showdown. Nope, that ain't optimal. So there's randomness turned on. Yerp. All right, optimal on showdown. Jokic captain, Peyton, Porter, Morris, Barton, Klay Thompson. Now we can try turning that rando back on. Power rankings for the featured showdown contest tonight. At captain, Jokic very clearly your number one captain. Klay Thompson, Will Barton, Draymond Green, Jordan Poole are the top five. At utility, it's Jokic as well. And then we get to Monty Morris and Will Barton, Aaron Gordon, Klay Thompson, Jeff Green, and Draymond Green are everybody above 30%. Let's bounce on over to Yahoo now. Happy to run Yahoo for the playoffs since we have time. We have let's see. Optimal on Yahoo, Pat Bev, Russell, Thompson, Brooks, Dorian Finney-Smith, Draymond Green, Towns, and Gobert. That's at 300.6. That's 1.3 points ahead. So pretty firmly ahead from an optimal perspective. And if we turn on randomness and look at the power rankings on Yahoo, looking like it's going to be Towns. Towns at the top, Edwards 2, Beverly 4th, because Draymond passed him at the end. Ja, Gobert, Brooks, Russell, Mitchell, and Barton all round out everybody above 30%. Okay, and then Connor, you want a Golden State Denver FanDuel single game? Let me see if I could pull that off quickly. I think that I can. Denver, Golden State, remove blanks. I think I have this set up to get it quickly. We're about to find out. I think this is what I needed to do. Bingo. Yeah, got it. That works. All right, FanDuel single game for Denver Golden State, and then we're out of here. Oh, I'm going to have to change my view again. That's fine. It's quick now. It's quick. Hence the quick view name. All righty. Projections in. And optimal lineup. Oh, it's not going to be right. Ooh, yeah, no, that's not going to be right. It turns, for some reason, it turns randomness on for this section. 273.08 by 1/100th of a point. Jokic MVP, Draymond Star, Aaron Gordon Pro, Monty Morris, Andrew Wiggins. If you want to drop down by 1/100th of a point, you flip-flop Aaron Gordon and Andrew Wiggins. Now, power rankings, kind of tough to look at in Fantasy Cruncher, but we'll do our best. So at MVP, surprise, surprise, it's Nikola Jokic. 41% of the time he's in the optimal at the MVP spot, and then everybody else is sort of the same. Whether you go any other guy you pick is probably fine. At star, it's still Jokic. Clay, Aaron Gordon, and Draymond Green are the only guys north of 10%. At pro, we finally see Jokic fall out of the top spot. It's pretty flat. Gordon, Jokic, Clay, Draymond, and Will Barton are all at 10%. And then at utility, most popular or best option is going to be Gary Payton at 7K. He's the value that unlocks everything. Draymond, Clay, Aaron Gordon, you get Will Barton, Andrew Wiggins, Monty Morris, all decent options. All righty, folks. That's going to do it. We're done here. Another one in the books. Thank you guys for being here. We'll be back again tomorrow for one last process show. And then I don't know if we're going to have another one. It's going to be up in the air if we do this on Monday morning or not. As of right now, Monday is supposed to be game 4 of Boston and Brooklyn. So that'll happen no matter what. That's game 5 of Philly and Toronto. So if Philly wins, if Philly sweeps the Raptors, there will not be a process show on Monday. It's also game 5 of Jazz Mavericks, which has to happen no matter what. So if Toronto wins on whatever day they play, Saturday, I'm guessing. Yeah, if Toronto wins on Saturday, then we have a process show on Monday. Same situation for Hawks Heat. Like if the Heat sweep, there won't be one on Tuesday. Otherwise, everything else is available. We'll reevaluate later next week. Guys, thank you for being here. It's been swell. I'm happy to have you guys here. Hit the like button if you haven't done it already. This was The Process.